Hello everyone and welcome back to Hands Across the Water. This is episode 17. I'm here with my co-host Andy Nichols. Hi Andy.
Hi Tony.
And Kyle Hand. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm great, Tone.
Good. So in tonight's show we're going to be talking about the album Help, because it is 60 years old this year, and everyone seems to be ignoring it. So we're gonna give it some respect and give it some love, I think. So should we? Do you want to kick us off, Andy? Talking about the album.
Sure. I mean, we did touch upon the song a little bit 2 episodes ago, and when we were in Vegas, and it was all the rage of the discussion of Paul playing it. But actually, to think about Help 60 years on without a trace of an anniversary reissue or the film. Hello, Rocky Raccoon. How you doing?
Wrong album, Ricky. Get out of here.
Without a trace of an acknowledgement from Apple about the film, or as we have often discussed on our retrospective channels, an archive box where a lot of people were clamoring for Rubber Soul, but you had both albums released in the same year. Help, obviously, the film came out in the summer. The album came out, it was more of a summer release. Rubber Soul was at the end of the year, but not a word really, other than from the Beatles camp, other than advertising, Shea Stadium merch and things like that, and the Anthology. And Help has slipped by the radar. Now, we've gotten nice releases of Help, especially the film. About 2007-ish, they put a really nice box of the film together with the script and the DVDs that were really cleaned up, because let's just talk about the Beatles. The Beatles films on DVD have kind of had a really weird release history.
Yeah.
They haven't really been great. I mean, the first run on DVD of Help was actually not that good. It was actually really bad quality. In 2007, they really did. Apple got all their weight behind it and put a really nice box together of the film and the script, which you can still get.
Yeah.
It's Tony.
It's not expensive either.
You have it, Tony, right?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I've got
it.
Yeah,
it's a nice piece, and it's got like the nice script and with the Help wrapping paper on it and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think, and that was 2007, and like, why was there any reason for Apple to issue that then? Now, 60 years on, I mean, Neil Aspinall was still at the helm in 2007. I think he passed in 2008. So you just wonder why these decisions are made regarding the marketing of the film. And Help, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, people prefer A Hard Day's Night a lot better. But we're talking about the film and the album. But here we are at the end of 2025, and nothing's been said.
Well, no. I have a theory for why it hasn't been released this year. And it's not about how... It's not. What did you say?
Here we go.
Here we go.
It's not about Help specifically. I think that the era of anniversary releases is over.
Okay.
I think that people are just releasing box sets when they think the time is right. I think that a great example of this is like Springsteen's like Electric Nebraska. Like, what are they celebrating? Like the 42nd anniversary? I don't know. Doesn't seem very significant to me. And even with the new record, I'm mentioning Dylan in 3.5 minutes.
Shocker.
The Dylan box set, there's no he never follows anniversary, so this one's not any different. But my point is that with Springsteen's Nebraska one, that kind of aligns with the film that's coming out. Dylan's Early Days box set aligns with the film that just came out. So I think that they're more so trying to match the cultural moment than any round numbers. That worked really, really good for like the 2010s when it was like 50 years of Sgt. Pepper.
Right.
They followed that as long as they could. And now I think it's a little bit disappointing because now we can't like set our watches and say we're getting Rubber Soul this year. It's a little bit more inconsistent, but at least it opens it up to like just whatever works.
Yeah. Well, a lot of artists are still sticking to.
They are.
I mean, Oasis have just released the 30th anniversary of What's the Story, Morning Glory. And Dire Straits Brothers in Arms, that's 40 years. That's had an issue this year.
Well, that's always going to be an easy tie-in, but I just think that they're kind of looking beyond that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't care when they put things out.
No, really. And Kyle, make a good point about that for the 10s, it was great because the Beatles started this whole super deluxe thing with Pepper in 17. They didn't start it in 2013 with Please Please Me and go chronological, right? Because the
Mm.
market didn't call for those sets at that time. 2017 hits, boom, 50 years since Sgt. Pepper. Let's start there and go up. And then once you get up to Let It Be, and of course you throw COVID in there too, how do we then market box sets? Do anniversaries go out the window? Clearly that's the case. McCartney, especially for the half speed stuff, those come out on anniversary dates of all his half speed stuff. So
it's still there, but I'm just saying that I think Beatles fans are worried about like the 60th anniversary of Help passes, and now we have to wait for the 70th, or we have to wait for
no.
I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so either.
But I think for a fan base as hardcore and as studious as the Beatles, they want those things on anniversary dates. You know, the Beatles fan community is a very learned lot. They know their history. They know the sessions. They know the recording history. They want these things on dates, and like that's not the era we live in anymore. And
no, but I think that it helps ease the mind a little bit when you think, oh, well, what might we get this year? Okay, well, what's got an anniversary this year? Oh, right, okay,
right.
So Help's got an anniversary this year, and Rubber Soul's got an anniversary this year, and you kind of think along those lines, don't you? I suppose.
Look at Revolver in 2022. I
know. I mean, if we hadn't had Revolver already, we would be saying, well, next year, 2026, we're getting Revolver. Definitely. No question, we're getting Revolver. But we've already had it, so there you go. There you go. But you know, this is you know, 65 is such an important year for the Beatles. It is possibly their busiest year. They're possibly their busiest year. World tours. They make a film. They make two absolute stellar albums. They get MBEs from the Queen. You know, they discover the old woohoo.
Oh yeah,
bit of that.
the herbal jazz cigarettes.
Yeah, the herbal jazz cigarettes, and you know, it's such a busy year, especially with the touring and the recording, and it's, you know, it's kind of an endless cycle, and they've got to write all this material for, you know, for these two albums, and obviously making a film takes time as well, and not, you know, a film like Help where they're, you know, in multiple locations, you know, you know, they're in Austria 1 minute, the next minute they're in the Bahamas, and you know.
Well, yeah, only because, well, you know, we've never been to the Bahamas. Can you write a scene in for that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the stories of their songs come from locations. Like it's very well known, like what songs came from their trip to India, but that wasn't the first time they kind of were inspired by geography. Like all the while they are, and then, you know, Paul even later in his career would like write all of Venus and Mars when he's in the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
so it's again, like many things with their careers, you can't extract like the history itself from the songwriting.
Yeah. No. You want to go album proper or film now?
No, let's just talk about the album. Or we can briefly talk about the film if you want. I'm not a massive fan of the film. No, I'm not. It's just a little bit too silly for me. But there are bits in it that I like. But what I loved about it when I first saw it, you know, because obviously I didn't see it when it came out. I was too young. But when you catch up with it in the 70s, you realize that a lot of the people, obviously not the Beatles, but a lot of the people that are in the film are like, you know, like quite famous British comedy actors and actresses and stuff like that. And what's he in? And what's she in? She's in this and she's in that and all that sort of stuff, which it always makes it a little bit interesting. But you know, as a film, I much prefer Hard Day's Night. But
of course, but there are some funny moments in
it. Yeah, there's loads of really funny moments in it. And but I'll tell you what kind of puts a bit of a downer on it for me is because the night that John got killed, when the TV was like flooded with Beatles stuff, ITV, I think it was ITV, it might have been BBC, I can't remember, but they showed Help that night, and I was around at my mates, and he was a Beatles fan as well, and we sat through Help, and we didn't laugh once during the whole thing, because that
not in a laughing mood.
The mood of that day just absolutely killed it, and I've never really got that back.
It's odd for ITV to broadcast that film. That they should have just been playing old news clips or something, to show a comedic slapstick. I can't remember which side it was, because both BBC and ITV, they just cancelled the whole schedule that night. Obviously, here it was the 9th of December. Okay, right. So the evening of the 9th of December, the whole TV schedules were cancelled, and both ITV and BBC just showed Beatles and John Lennon stuff like all night. I remember, we got the whistle test interview with Bob Harris and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things was the Help movie, which obviously killed like about an hour and 20 minutes or whatever of the schedule.
That's a very interesting way into it, because especially also what you said about the to other British famous people that were in it. For somebody like me approaching it from New York in 2015, I don't know any of that.
No. And but even British kids that have British people of your age, they wouldn't know them either. But for me, sort of being a teenager, seeing it for the first time, I did know some of those actors, because I'd seen them in Are You Being Served, or some sort of sitcom or whatever.
Yeah. I have two historical comments about the film. First, I think that with the Beatles being kind of such a big thing, and then this just being part of their, their body of work, I think when we look back on it, we see these films as oh yeah, of course, the Beatles have films. But I think that people like me may not understand right away that in the 50s and 60s, musicians having films was a thing.
Oh yeah,
Elvis had more films than albums. I mean, that's probably not true, but he had so many.
That was the formula,
That was the formula.
Yeah.
Become a pop star, make a film,
Yeah. And I think it just kind of stands out as this odd thing, right? I mean, sure. I mean, some Jonas Brothers, One Direction might have films-ish kind of nowadays, but not in the same way that it was just part of the machine back then.
Where they're actually being asked to act.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see, the difference with the Beatles was, they still remained true to their craft. They're look, we're songwriters in a band. We're not going to become film stars. Elvis just went and made all these kinds of movies, and that was the difference. And I think they were look, this is great, but we're still a band. We can do it. We can make a silly pot-infused movie and be silly, but at the end of the day, we're going back to the studio and we're making music.
Right. And then speaking of the acting, my second comment was that it's funny how it's hard to kind of track a progression, because Magical Mystery Tour, Let It Be, Yellow Submarine, those are all kind of outliers. They don't kind of stay on this growth of this, then that, then this.
No.
But you have this pattern of two, where it just goes from A Hard Day's Night to Help. And the trajectory you see there is that Ringo comes out as the star of Hard Day's Night, even though it's still kind of an ensemble piece. But then in Help, now it's their second at bat, and Ringo is squarely the star.
Yeah, because of what they saw he was capable of in Hard Day's Night.
Right.
He was then the focus of.
It was easy. Ringo. It was easy for Ringo to act. The other three, it's tough for them to act on film. I would say after Ringo, probably the best person that could act, I would say, would be John. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
from a huge fall off, but yeah,
huge. But I think it will be John. Paul and John. Now, Paul is the natural ham, but it's tough. It's tough for Paul on film, with script and stuff like that.
We covered that in in what's it called, Broad Street.
I think that when he works with, when they're working with comedy scripts, or not even with scripts, when they're working with comedy, I think John is very good at that. I mean,
Yes.
they were all witty in different ways, but I just always used to think that John's brain used to turn just a little bit faster than the others, especially when you look at the press conferences and stuff like that, when they were being asked these silly questions and stuff like that. And John's quips, used to come bang, bang, bang. I mean, sometimes, George would come out with a belter, or Paul would come out with a belter, or whatever.
Even the dialogue in the film, like in the scene when I guess it's the third or fourth attempt to like clip the ring, John and Ringo are walking together down the block and they go to the thing. What are you doing? Posting a letter. Like that's how they would talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that translates on film. That's why I think that those two do the best in that. But it's a silly film, but there are parts in it that are damn good though. And especially the music, which is why we're always there. I mean, Kyle before the recording talked about like the scene of you're gonna lose that girl. With the Smokey and the Ringo, smoking and drumming. It's a great part.
I feel like what's special about that is that it's kind of this precursor to the MTV style video that obviously, I mean, I don't want to be incorrect, but this only would have shown in theaters, right? The first Beatles film to play on TV at all was Magical Mystery Tour, right? So this wouldn't have had like a concurrent television and theatrical release.
Yeah,
right?
No, that was a TV film.
Yeah.
That was shown here. I don't know if it was the same in America, but it was shown here on Boxing Day.
Boxing Day,
right? Yeah. So what I'm saying though is that like music videos at home obviously was not a thing in 1965.
No.
But in this script of this goofiness with the ring and Ringo, whatever, like you have just beautiful like works of art of like it almost looks like Citizen Kane with all the smoke in the room, right? Of You're Gonna Lose That Girl, which totally, if you just if Oasis did that in the 90s, it would have been a hit MTV music video.
Kind of what Paul did for Broad Street too. Weird plot with some really great musical performances in it.
Yeah.
It's the same template.
Totally.
Yeah. It is funny actually though, because when you think about that transformation from cinema screen to TV screen, it was just so long. It was, back then it was, now a film comes out at the cinema and it's on TV within 3 or 4 months, isn't it?
They have to fight to even get it in the theater and not go home.
But back then it was like years. It used to be years. You used to get, oh, fantastic! There's a Bond film on Christmas Day. How exciting! Yeah, but it's Dr. No. It's like 7 years old.
That's the other thing too, Kyle. I'm sure Tony can appreciate this. I think there's even a film clip of it. Like, I think John, like when films got re-shown on BBC TV or whether it was ITV, like it was a big deal. I think there's footage or like of John knowing that Help was going to be broadcasted on television, like in 1970, and like he cleared his calendar to go watch it. Because like films were not shown all the time.
No, that's right.
Not even he could see it.
No, so he's like, they're going to show Help. I want to go watch it. Like that was Tony's point. Is what he's saying.
This reminds me
time to get onto TV.
It reminds me of
such a random part of. I think it had to do like 2 or 3 rounds of being on the cinema before you could. Actually be allowed to show it on the telly.
Right.
And that kind of all changed with once home video happened, didn't it? It's when home video happened. There was still a wait time, but it became much quicker before it was in the cinema, and then maybe 6 months later there'd be a home video of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of this random moment of McCartney Legacy 2 when Paul's on the road, but he like brings like a whole cinema setup with him to have like the film reel and the projector. And I'm like, wow, yeah, Paul could do that on his phone nowadays with the boys.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that the consensus with Help is that if somebody's getting into the Beatles, it's not the first thing you're showing them. It's more of a deeper cut, which seems weird considering how popular and successful the songs are and everything. But it's when you give it the attention and you will sit through the silly, I think you'll appreciate the silliness, but be awestruck by the rest of the beautiful scenes in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great photography in there.
What's your favorite? I mean, Kyle, is that You're Gonna Lose That Girl, your favorite moment in that whole film, or no?
Yeah, but if I'm going to like more something comic, I think that just their funny bedroom thing just always gets me. How they have the 4 entrances, but it's all like one room.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I mean,
That-
that is brilliant. Seeing the 4 of them share a room and going in there. But I gotta say, is like the side characters, the scientists, and that stuff is hilarious. With whether it's traveling, and it was Roy Kinnear, and I forget the other gentleman. It was Roy Kinnear and Victor Spinetti, of course. The whole time. But probably the funniest thing is like, I think they're in Iceland or something, and like they're all playing. Was it what's that game called, Tony? With the frickin' where they're throwing the frickin' thing on the ice.
Curling.
Yeah. And they have one's the bomb, and he's like, steady, I am steady. I am picking it up. I am moving my left leg. Yeah. I am moving my right leg. And he's like, come on. It's just that kind of comedy is just so funny.
Yeah.
Curling, sorry.
It's very kind of early Python-esque, I think.
Very much so. Yeah. Very much so. But it's
it goes to show that I think you can't overlook this. I mean, on its merits, it's great. But seeing the whole growth and history of the group, I mean, it's the proper launch of Ringo's acting career. You have George's, Python association with there. And then even when you said about Paul doing the same exact template for Broad Street, I mean, it's all, and then John, I can't think of one for him, but it's an important stepping stone that just, makes, out of all the amazing big things that come out in 1965, this can't be overlooked. In terms of what's come out for this already, you have Yesterday, you have I'm talking Anthology 2. You had Yesterday and It's Only Love, and I think that's really it. I might be missing a couple. I mean, that means a lot.
You've got Hide Your Love Away.
You've got to Hide Your Love Away. Yeah.
Paul's broken the glass. That one.
Right. Okay. Well, that one's awesome. That one's classic. But then we're getting a couple more in Anthology 4. We're getting I Need You, Take 1, and I've Just Seen a Face, Take 3.
Ooh, for 1965 stuff. Yeah.
Right. So I just wanted to say that it's part of the issue when you kind of release these career spanning demo projects like this, is it kind of cheapens the quality of a Help standalone release, right?
Yeah. We understand that the best outtakes came out on Anthology 1 to 3.
Yeah,
right. I think from what we've seen that's come out since on the sessions LPs, there hasn't been. Maybe with the White Album is the exception, maybe, but most of the best outtakes came out with on Anthology 3, and what we're getting now are kind of the next group down with those sessions. I think they're struggling a little bit to make up the numbers. I think of giving us some good stuff. They've come up with some good stuff that wasn't on that Anthology for sure, but not wholesale. I don't think they have.
Like, how about Take 1 of Another Girl? Come on,
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think what I'm trying to say is if we were to imagine what's in the box of a Help 75th anniversary, let's just get crazy, right? Yeah. It's you're having. I would honestly because I just appreciate presentation, I wouldn't mind so much a rehashing of a lot of this anthology material on a second LP of some sort of Help box set, but they would have to pad it out with a couple things, which to Tony's point wouldn't be as good as what we already have in all likelihood.
Probably not.
But would you get that if it was the six or so tracks we already have from Anthology 1 to 4 with a couple extras
and bundled in a new thing? Yeah.
You know what I think one of the problems is that when they go through these archives, they're for stuff on these sessions LPs, they're looking pretty much for complete takes. Yeah. Maybe there's a little breakdown right near the end or something, but they're looking for complete takes. I would love them to, if they've got loads of bits, that break down maybe after verse 1 or verse 2 or something. do something like the Lennon Estate do with the Evolution documentaries. Put together, 7 or 8, little snippets of songs. Let's see the progression of these, the songs if they haven't got those full, the full takes.
Build it out,
Yeah, build it out. Give us an 8-minute track of, Another Girl or something like that, and let's hear it. Let's hear it. Build how it got to whatever take it was that that ended up as being the master.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think it's a clear sign that there's an audience for that type. Like Beatles fans, like I think a large amount of us are kind of studious in that way of like we are interested in the progression of these things. We don't just need
really interested in it.
Yeah, really too interested.
That's what as I mentioned, the Beatles fandom is a very studious lot. They can appreciate and understand, and they want this stuff. It's not just being fanboy. Like, there's plenty of scholarly Beatle books out there, and we've consumed them all decades ago. We might be not as fresh on them as we once were, but we've read it. We know it. So just we know that it's out there. Just put it together in a saleable package, like Tony's saying, and but they're never going to follow one format and template just because John's estate does it.
No,
Beatles don't have to do that.
No, I suppose because they didn't come up with that idea.
No,
it's difficult for them to them to follow it. But that would be a perfect solution of if they haven't got complete takes, they could give us something that's really interesting to listen to, where they can use. Where it breaks down in after verse 1, then it breaks down after verse 2, then after the chorus 1, or whatever, or the solo goes wrong, or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm more disappointed than anything, about the Power to the People box is not having the Evolution documentary is Woman of the what of the World. I would love to hear that. I missed not having that more than having a remix of the song.
Because it's let me tell you,
that would be fascinating.
Yeah, totally. It's a great composition.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I want this box to look like.
Go on, then.
LP1 remastered stereo, right? We already have a lot of it from the 2023 Red Album reissue. Mm-hmm. Give us the whole lot, okay? LP2 side 1, you get all the rehashes from Anthology. Yes, we already have it. Happy to have it in one place. Done. Yeah. LP2 side 2 Evolution mixes. Let's make use of those snippets to have in some sort of like still listenable documentary style way.
If they even exist, but that's the thing. Especially with the Evolution approach, like John's demos, John kept everything. We don't know if we have home demos of John working on Help. We had that with Yellow Submarine, which is why that was such a revelation on Revolver. But who knows? Like if they could build that out and do that, Kyle, I get that. That would be great. It's just it doesn't probably exist. So I don't think they could do this. They could give you the best of the studio stuff, like Tony was saying, and snip it together to do that. But in terms of like embryonic demos of some of this stuff, it's probably long gone.
No, well, I'm saying
maybe not from demos, but
not from demos.
I'm sure they've got studio breakdowns.
Something
somewhere. But
imagine even 45 seconds of John single tracked opening up Help without even Paul on it. Like start with that. You're like, that's got to be laying around somewhere,
Yeah, and I'll even take some creative stuff. Like if you do Yesterday, but only the vocal track, something like that. Like that would be kind of crazy to hear it a cappella.
And sorry, what was you talking about there? What?
No, I'm saying if you're gonna fill out. Okay, what I'm saying is we have the album LP1, LP2 side 1, and then we have to fill out this last thing, right? Yeah. And please just don't make a drawing like Neil Young does. That's what he'll do with the last side. He'll just make like an etch of something. It's disgraceful. Yeah. So I'm saying if you're going to get creative with it, like one thing you could do, imagine if you did Yesterday, but only Paul's vocals, and you were able to use the technology to extract it. I don't know. There was just a random example. I'm just saying, like, I'm sure they can get creative with ways for us to appreciate the album in this historical way. Yeah. But, and get around not having full cuts of every single thing.
Yeah. Use whatever you want to use some modern technology to separate stuff and give us versions that way. Fine.
Yeah. Maybe that bit's a little controversial, but I'm just saying, it's possible. It's totally possible. And I think having a standalone Help retreatment would be so welcome. So
I bet there's a take of just Paul and George doing the backing vocals on the track "Help."
Oof.
Yeah,
I bet that exists. That exists of them working out those harmonies on that for the song "Help."
Oh man, you're getting me so excited. So, okay, so what's 75 years? Is that 2040? I guess.
Well, you just said on the top of this, it doesn't matter about anniversaries anymore.
Yeah, I did say that. I'm just saying. Saying. All right. So speaking of how necessary a re-release, a proper box set of this album is, why don't we get into the songs proper and just feel this envy of what doesn't exist even more. Tone, how about you start us off?
Okay. Well, I would probably talk about the song "Help" as being, one of the best on the album. But as we did a whole show on that, I won't. So I'm going to pick "Ticket to Ride" as the first song, as my first pick. I just think it's fantastic. It's got that great riff. It's got that great drum riff as well that Ringo's come up with, which is really, really unusual. It's catchy as hell. #1 single. Really, really good song. I think that'd be one of my top picks from this album, "Ticket to Ride."
Tony,
that's another one that.
Tony, I was going to say, Tony, have you ever tried to reproduce Ringo's drum part in that?
Yeah, we play "Ticket to Ride" in the band, so I do it. And it took me a while, I tell you.
I hope it's in the set list on New Year's Eve.
It is. It will be. It will be.
What can you appreciate about that song more than someone like me who doesn't know how to hold a drumstick?
Well, because it's just not the normal way to play that riff, because the song is just in 4/4 time, right? So if you don't need to do what Ringo does to play the drums in time to that song. So when I say it's in 4/4 time, he could just play it straight. So it'd be, "I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today," and it still works, right? That still works. That still fits in. But he doesn't do that. He does kick drum, snare, top drum, snare,
boom, 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 boom,
kick
boom.
drum, snare, top tom snare, and it's just really unusual. It's really unusual, and he punctuates each one of those with a kick drum as well. And it's not that easy to keep that. It's like a machine keeping it going throughout the verse with everything else that's going on in the song. Maybe not so necessarily. I mean, he did do a live take on it. Because I don't think they were recording separately at that time. But when you do it live, in a band with everything else going on around you, with the harmonies, the guitars, the bass, and everything, you've got to be like focused on kick drum snare, top tom snare, kick drum snare.
Wow.
Snare. And it sounds simple, but it's not. It's easy to get.
It's not.
It's easy to get you top tom and your snare in the wrong place or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Dave Grohl or somebody, but they did like a breakdown of Ringo's drumming on that song, and he was like, "If you think Ringo is a freaking easy drummer and a simple drummer and he can't drum, you're fucking crazy, because what he does on Ticket to Ride is out of this world."
Yeah, it is. It's really. I mean, it's not mega complicated, but it's quite hard to play. To keep it going, you've got to concentrate, or you're just going to get, your things in the wrong order, basically. But what I'm saying is, he didn't have to play it like that. He could have just played it, and it still would have worked. It still would have worked. It's still in 4/4 time. It still would have worked. So, he did something specific, to fit that song.
So this is kind of random, but I've been watching Ken Burns' jazz documentary for the first time, and he kind of just what you said reminded me of it so much that jazz kind of came from like a military style of playing the trumpet, where it's just very straight and strict. But then once one person started kind of shifting the beat, the rhythm a little bit more, that let the trumpet person just really start to get more creative with it. And I feel like that's what you're saying with Ringo, that he could have just kept it strict 4/4, but he just had that extra thought of like, how can we spice this up?
Yeah.
And then,
yeah. I mean, it is still 4/4, but most drummers will play a 4/4 beat on the snare and the hi-hat and the kick drum. So it's he's just opting to play it a different way. But if he played it straight, it would have worked.
Right.
There's actually a video on my channel, very early video. It's probably the least watched, one of the least watched videos of
until now.
I did it really, really early on, where I took I can't remember what I called the video, something like, why Ringo was the perfect drummer for the Beatles. And
I actually remember that one.
Yeah, and I basically kind of demonstrate some of his, famous or maybe more difficult grooves or whatever. And sometimes I show, well, he could have played it like this. And with that one, I do show it how you play it with, just with, with snare and hi-hat. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's also I'm not sure if I sort of go along with this, but a lot of people used to say that it was kind of like the first heavy metal song as well.
Oh yeah, I've heard that
because it's got this cut, it's got that repetitive riff sort of thing.
Well, that's John actually said that.
Yeah. I always think of something like You Really Got Me as being like the first sort of heavy metal.
Yeah, both 1965.
Yeah. Okay, Carl, you pick your first song.
Okay, so this is obviously tough. I love this album, but if I have to choose one, I would definitely say You're Going to Lose That Girl. I think that seeing that the scene in the film completely changed my relationship with it. I mean, I loved it a lot when I heard it, but it kind of didn't stand out. I mean, on an album with Help and Yesterday, I mean, how do you compete? Like those are, I feel like those stand out the most. But just it kind of showed that early Beatles is not just dominated by this Ed Sullivan style with them in the suits all buttoned up. I feel like this was kind of their first chance, even more so than Hard Day's Night, just to appear like that like 60s cool. Ringo's got the cigarette while he's drumming. There's just the cool lights coming all around. And also it kind of predates or like speaks to something that we'd appreciate about them later, which is that inside look in the studio. That's what we love about, I mean, the Easter demos obviously not being like being a little bit different, but that's what we love about all of the Let It Be sessions. That's what we love about the Peter Jackson documentary, that we actually get to be a fly on the wall. And obviously this scene is a lot more kind of, presented for the film. It's not necessarily like they don't realize they're being filmed. Like it's obviously that, but it's just, you get that inside look where it's like, damn, those guys are so cool. And so I really have to say it's because of the film that I absolutely adore the song You're Gonna Lose That Girl.
Really? Just because of the imagery and stuff, and like you said, like the smokiness and the more mature look feel.
I mean, now when I just listen to the song, it's just an epic song, but I can't decouple that.
Yeah, it's just very 1965 cool, I think.
Yes, I want more of that.
And mod cool, I think.
Yes.
It is. I love the backing vocals in this song. It's fantastic. Yes, yes, you're gonna lose that girl. Brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
That, again, if it was released as a single, number one single.
Well, pretty much anything. Wasn't that naturally released as a single in the US, or was it a B-side?
What's that?
Act Naturally. Was that released as a single in the US? Yeah, I mean that. If that can be released as a single, then anything can really on this. Yeah. Apart from Dizzy Miss Liz.
Yeah, right. No, I mean it kind of reminds me, like, I feel like they're kind of leaning into like the boy group does girl group of like the Shirelles, the Ronettes kind of thing, and I love when they do that. Like You Really Got a Hold on Me, it kind of reminds me of the Beatles doing that. So yeah, this one has my heart. I mean, to me, the Help album is You're Gonna Lose That Girl. So Andy, what say you?
Surprise, surprise, it's a Paul song for me. and that's The Night Before, the second track that opens the album. Again, for reasons that Kyle stated, my earliest memories of the song are seeing it on film, so that's kind of what I go to first. Seeing him in the grass field, trying to throw off, them being chased, and the fact that it opens like it's like the organ is really prominently featured in it, and John's playing it. You don't really hear organ too much in Beatles songs up until this point. And no. John's playing it too. When it opens up, you're like, wow, organ, okay. And I love the bridge in it too. The bridge is great, and then the drums that Ringo do on that. Last night is the night I will remember. And then it just goes back to Paul again. It's a whaler of a song. Again, its placement and its merit in the Beatles canon probably is not that high, but it was one of the songs written for the film, and it works. I mean, it's a fantastic performance, and it I just love that you hear organ on Beatles music, because around this time, you started to hear a lot of that seep into that stuff, whether it was George Martin doing it or it was John doing it, certainly on Rubber Soul, but on this one, you hear it, and actually they played it on. It was even on. They played it for the BBC too, on one of their radio shows too, which is rare for like a deeper cut to be played. But I mean, it's just got Paul and all his kind of. I know Kyle just said that they're kind of coming out of the mop toppy look, but when you watch that scene again, they're in the suits and he's doing the head shake thing, and he's got the bass, and makes me want to cry. I mean, it's it's such a whaler of a song that it's a staple of the Help record for me, and the fact that he got to that period performing live, talking about, present day, of picking these songs that were like deeper cuts, but playing them live, like The Night Before, which I saw him do at Yankee Stadium. He did that with Another Girl from the Help album, like picking and choosing these deeper cuts to incorporate into his show, especially from the Help album, is very interesting. And as we know, he's done it with the main track. So yeah, but The Night Before for me will always be like the Help song for me. Although I love all the reasons you stated, Kyle, While You're Gonna Lose That Girl is probably one of the best moments of the whole film as a visual thing, as the song itself being so great. Other than the jokiness thing, boys, are you buzzing? But yeah, it's just it's classic 1965 Beatles sounding music. All these songs, they really are.
Yeah, and I like how it all ties in with the film too. Even though we were kind of taking it for what it is, all of us kind of mentioned the film in some way.
So there you have it, Apple.
There you have it. So we're pretty much Apple. We're doing all the work for you. We're telling you exactly what to put out. We're telling you that we'll pay for it. So what's the wait? You don't got to wait till 2040 for this.
Yeah. And don't forget, they need to put the mono Help in the box set as well.
That's right.
Good points. Thank you. Yeah, a 3 LP.
Yeah.
1 Blu-ray. There you go. Done.
Yeah. It's I mean, Paul's got some good songs on this album. Yesterday, I've just seen a face. The Night Before, like you said, Andy, Another Girl, even. But for John wins this album for me, I think. With Help, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. You're Going to Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride. I know he didn't like
It's Only Love.
He didn't like It's Only Love, but I really like it.
He thought that was trash.
Tails off a little bit, I think, with You Like Me Too Much and Tell Me What You See. And
I love those two tracks. I think those B-side, they are just again, organ, with You Like Me Too Much, a little piano beginning again, different.
Well, if we'd had our original guest on tonight, Kyla, she would have been right with you on The Night Before, because she talked extensively about that as being one of her favorite songs when she was on my channel. So
Kyla,
so there you go.
Agree. And we'll chat more about that when we have you on next week.
Yeah. And we don't need to talk about Dizzy Miss Lizzie, do we?
No.
Thank you all for joining us so much.
We need to end it with some sort of metaphor or semaphore, should I say?
Oh yeah. Did you do HATW?
Yeah.
We can only do 3.
We just do YMCA.
Yeah.
No, I think Ringo does this one right on the album cover.
Here, I'll hold it up and you can.
There you go.
Me.
I'll do Paul.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for another exciting episode of Hands Across the Water. Tell us in the comments, would you buy this 3 LP, 1 Blu-ray box set of Help?
Don't forget the book. Don't forget the book as well.
Oh, and the book.
And the book.
And the book. Right. Maybe the screenplay too. Throw it in there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that can be part of the book. That can be.
Yeah, that'll be part of the book. But yeah, do you think that Help was unceremoniously skipped over, or what? Let us know. If you're still watching, we really appreciate you being here and listening all the way through, and I hope you enjoyed our discussion. Any other closing comments, fellas?
Keep on keeping on, fellas.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We'd appreciate it. If you see the hype button, if you're watching on your phone and you see the hype button, hit that hype button.
Yeah, give Help the respect it deserves.
Please. And we're almost at 1,000 subs. So thank you for all the people that have watched us since Jesse Morell, and my buddies Tony and Kyle did such a great interview with her while I was away for that one. So thank you guys for that. And we're almost at 1,000 subs. So the content has been, and the feedback has been so great from everybody, and the comments too. And we all three of us do our best to respond to some comments when we can. We haven't gotten back to all of you because there's just such as life. But if you took the time to leave a comment on any of our recent content, whether it was the Help video or the Jesse Morell video, thank you so much, especially the Jesse Morell one. I mean, that has done so well for us. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's get the Help out of here and wrap up this episode. And thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
See you next
guys.
time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.